Like the board says, it's Oulton Park. It is round 5 of the TCR UK Championship. I've got my faves with me. Andy McEwen, lead on comms. Anthony Joshua.
Jordan.
Anthony Jordan. Sorry about that.
No, you're welcome.
Paul O'Neill here. And we are loving life. The sun is out. The crowd are here. The glamour is on the circuit. It's been amazing to watch qualifying this morning live here at Oulton Park. First of all, lead comms. Andy, always like to hear your views because you don't do too much driving, but you've got a lot of knowledge. Round here, you need to be brave, mate.
I'm glad to hear I'm blagging it well. That's something. Yeah, what a great track this is. I know we're a little bit biased, this being our local track, but there's just something special about touring car racing at Oulton Park. These cars in quali before were absolutely on a knife edge, and that's the only way to get a quick lap out of them. So yeah, really excited to be here. The sun is out. It's the hottest day of the year. Every time we come to Oulton Park with TCR, we're either underwater or we're melting. So I think I'll take the hot weather today, that's for sure.
We could do with some water today, couldn't we? I tell you what a final sector from our pole man, Bruce Winfield. Said it on comms, very Max Verstappen-esque. Fantastic to see. Supercar control. He's good for a win, isn't he?
I think so. The start is crucial, though. I was just chatting to Alex Lee just now, starting alongside him. He was really disappointed that he got pipped to that pole position. He said he made a mistake on the final lap, without which he could have easily been ahead of Bruce. So the start's crucial. It's not going to be easy to pass around here, especially given the fact those two cars, they're from the same team. They're going to have very similar setups. Their pace, we know, is almost identical. So I've got a feeling that whoever gets into Old Hall Corner first is going to have a big advantage. Both of them know how much pressure is on this race start. So either of them could win. Of course, Alex won here last year on the island layout, so he knows how to do it. Bruce has also got that championship lead to try and defend as well. So how punchy is he willing to be against a teammate of all people? It's going to be interesting.
Very nice. Anthony, listen, this place, proper, technical, got everything you need, isn't it? And we've seen Bruce is on the pole. You're the man in the know, round the pits. What have people been saying? All the cars working okay?
I'd say 90% of the carts are working well. That's the main thing. There are a couple of teething issues here and there. Biggest one being Callum Newsham. That cart went pop really in qualifying. Fortunately, I think it was a brand new oil line failed, and then it took the turbo out with it, and they're still working on the turbo. I've got no idea if he's out on the grid. I doubt he is. Real shame for him. Hopefully we'll see him out in race 2. Maybe in this one he could be starting from the pit lane. But yeah, he's the biggest real no-show in this one, which is a huge shame.
Yeah, lots of people now. Look at this. Lots of people coming onto the public grid walk now. Fantastic to see. A lot of people here today. Oulton Park, knowledgeable crowd. I live 20 minutes down the road, and honestly, the people love a bit of motorsport. It was fantastic to see. Kids welcome. Everyone is welcome. It's really, really cool place to be. Championship-wise, quite tight, isn't it?
Yeah, very tight actually at the front, especially because obviously with the nature of the balanced performance changing and the compensation weight as well, inevitably you get this ebb and flow as the season goes on. So Area struggled last time, they're back on form again this week. It's about consistency. It's always been about consistency. Chris Smiley only won 2 races last year, won the championship. Isaac Smith didn't win a single one and nearly took it off him. If you can consistently be finishing in the top 5, that's the way to go about it really. But then this is the kind of track where it's going to punish mistakes. If you do push a bit too hard, maybe overwork those tyres in the early stages, it's going to cost you a lot of points. So early in the season, but never too early to be thinking about those championship points. And I think there are a few drivers, Chris Smiley being one definitely, Brad Kent another. They're in a hole. They've got to dig themselves out of it. And certainly in Chris's case, he's going a long way towards achieving that already today.
Yeah, for sure. People pushing the limits, track limits, people pushing the tyres. Any reports of any tyre troubles? I know you can actually you can nip a tyre here if you pull the back of a curb, say at Old Hall or at the chicanes.
Yeah, you can. It's very easily done, like you say, but I think everyone's got away with it okay in this one. We saw some dramas a little earlier on in some of the other races, but TCR seems to be all good. I think it's time to go for a little walk, though, isn't it? Because I'm hearing it in my ear that they want us to go for a little walk.
We'll say bye to Andy.
We'll say bye to Andy McEwen, who's going to head up and back into the lovely air-conditioned commentary box. He was throwing shade at me earlier, the cheek. He was throwing shade at me, saying it's a bit warm out there, isn't it?
He loves it,
main person who I want
it.
to have a quick chat with before we even get started with anything probably is Mr. Bruce Winfield. But can I see him anywhere? Yes, I can. I can see him just over there. I'm going to have a quick chat with him. Mate, I'm just going to get in here and just try and find him. Bruce, who's all the way back here. Bruce, now, pole position, solid qualifying. You were saying to me at the beginning of the weekend that the car was looking quick, and you certainly proved it.
Yeah, good start to the weekend. Just hopefully we can kind of carry that forward and replicate it in race 1. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously it's hot, got to manage tyres and stuff, so there might be some carnage out there, so I don't know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, just stay out the front hopefully and stay out of the trouble.
Exactly, that's what we need. Make sure you drink that up, mate. It's hot out here, like you just said. Best of luck.
Thank you very much, cheers.
Excellent stuff there. Bruce Winfield looking like he's got a good job. Here's Paulo. Paul, who have you got?
Well, I ain't got anybody at the minute, to be honest, but follow me. Let's go and speak to Jack Constable, if I can find him. There he is. How can I not find Jack Constable? He's got a bright white T-shirt on. He's like 7'9". Mate, congratulations on Croft. It's pretty cool, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty awesome. Pretty happy.
That's all you got to say?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. I'm done.
Listen, to do that for Audi, Rob Boston Racing, car's working well. Difficult track, isn't it? Tyre deg, high attrition. You come here, this is big brakes, isn't it? And tyre life is a big thing as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got max weight on and the two in front of us haven't. So, yeah, it's definitely something that I think we're going to struggle with today, keeping the life in the fronts and trying not to cook the brakes. But I think it's going to be one of those days. So we'll just see how we go. I mean, the car's got pace in it for it to be where it is. I'm really happy.
Would you be happy with the podium, or are you thinking Chris Smiley's going to smoke past me sometime? What's the sketch?
No, I'm going for a podium, if not a little bit further if we can. But, I mean, if we're talking realistically, yeah, we'd just settle for a podium. That'd be ideal. But I will always keep trying to fight forwards.
Good job you said that, because I see your team members are going to kill you behind. That face was like, if he doesn't get on the podium, he ain't coming back in my pit box.
I'm just here to take part.
Not here to take part.
We're here to win.
Good lad. He says it better than you. You want to drive.
You like my brolly dolly?
It's 2023, you can't say that. Right, OK, there is other ways of holding brollies. And where are we? There we are. Anthony, have you got?
I've got Luca here, who's joining us on the grid walk. Now, Luca, you were unfortunately the victim that I've chosen to interview on this one, who's joined us on the grid walk. And unfortunately, we had a quick chat. Your driver's not on the grid at the moment. Who are you here to see?
I'm here to see Callum Newsham.
Unfortunately, his turbo went. Hopefully, we'll see him out a little bit later on. But the sun is shining. How are you finding Oulton Park?
It's relaxing. Don't really know what to say. It's just nice breeze. It's good racing. Yeah.
How's it feel to be up close and personal with some of the TCR cars here this weekend?
First time on the grid here. Yeah. It's nice. I've never been on this grid. It's different to others. So yeah. Cars are all different to the normal. So.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the grid. Chat to some of the drivers because, like you say, Jack's over there as well. You can have a quick chat. Have a quick word with him. But get nice and up close. Get some good photos there as well.
Cheers. Thank you.
Excellent. Cheers, Luca. Back over to you, Paulo.
Lovely. Over here. Hello, we're back. Grid walks are great, open to everybody. Also open to the Marshals having a taste today here at Oulton, which I've done. I did one quite a while ago. And quickly, can you just tell us a bit about the taste today and why we have it?
Okay. The taste today is an opportunity for people who want to become a Marshal to come in, and they spend the morning. We walk them around the circuit and explain what the Marshals do, the rescue units, people like that. They have a look at scrutineering, race control, the medical centre, and then in the afternoon we put them on post with the Marshals and their Marshals for the afternoon. And the idea is, if you think you might want to be a Marshal, then come along and have a go, and at the end of the day decide whether you want to join us or not. The correct answer is obviously yes, but it gives people that option and it gives them the experience of what we do.
And love what you guys do. Obviously, I'm ambassador for BMMC. The great thing is, though, is that the taste today is absolutely amazing. And what's your name? Ella, and what got you here? Why do you love motorsport, or do you just want to help out? What is the score?
I do love motorsport. I've got into it a bit more recently through Formula One, and this is the closest track, and I thought I'd help out in doing something I like.
Amazing. And I can just hear the siren going off. But last question, what's been the best bit so far? Don't say running away from you, Paul.
Seeing the cars race around.
Yeah.
It's got to be the best bit.
So you're looking forward to this TCR UK race?
Always.
Amazing. Who's going to win?
Don't ask me that.
What an answer. The whistle's blowing. Sounds like everything's going off. Listen, keep up the good work. Hopefully you come back. We need more Marshals doing a great job.
Thank you.
No worries. Perfect. Right. AJ, we're up. There he is.
I'm right behind you. I'm like a rash, aren't I? Anyway, I want to go and have a chat with Mr. Chris Smiley, starting P4 on the grid. Last year's champion is just about to jump in the car before he does. Chris, qualifying pretty decent. P4 on this one. How are we feeling?
Yeah, it's we're going racing now, aren't we? You know, qualifying's one thing, racing's another thing. Yeah, you just have to concentrate on your start, because around here, once the sort of race gets going, there's not normally a lot of overtaking. So yeah, we're focusing on the start, and yeah, it's a long race. 16 laps or so around here is a long race. So yeah, we're looking forward to see how we perform over race distance.
Yeah. How's the car feeling development-wise? Is it where you want it to be now?
I wouldn't say it's exactly where we wanted it to be, but we're a lot closer than where we were this time yesterday, I can tell you that much. Yeah, we had a tough morning yesterday. Like, yeah, we totally re-engineered it halfway through the day yesterday, and you know, thankfully we've got it somewhere close to where it needs to be now, but by no means are we absolutely on the limit with it yet. But yeah, it's what is it? Still learning. As frustrating as that is, yeah, we're still working with the car. But yeah, it's a long race, and we're looking forward to it.
That's what we need. Well, best of luck in it. Enjoy the session. Like you say, it is a long race, 16 laps, like you say. Paulo's over with Adam Shepherd. Adam Shepherd's had, well, dramas. They've done a lot of work with the car. Paul, what have they done?
Yeah, well, I don't actually think it's going any better, if I'm honest. I don't want to give too much of the game away, Adam, but a lot of activity, mate. Front left, I know you've had problems with the front right as well. What's going on, mate?
The issue we had in free practice and qualifying was no power, and we found the turbo actuator had seized shut. So we fixed that, and now we've found a damper leaking. So it's not the ideal start, but we're losing so much time from the turbo issue. We know that we had the pace for front row, so let's see how we go in this and see if we can get any better.
All right, mate. I want to see you out there. You crack on. We won't take too much of your time up. Well done, mate. And yeah, drive it like you stole it, mate. Usual rules. AJ, what's going on?
Well, the sun's shining. Race is about to get underway. Bradley Kent's over here, who we spoke to a little bit after qualifying. Bit of a dramatic qualifying for you, but mate, not too bad on the old grid here.
We've got 40 kg of ballast as well from Croft, so 6th isn't bad at all. I think we now should lose some weight for Knockhill. We've just got to do what we can, keep collecting points. I mean, we had a DNF at Croft as well, so don't want any more of them. Just keep getting consistent finishes, and I'm sure you'll see us up there at some point, definitely.
Yeah. It's a pretty long run down in towards turn 1 here. Oulton's a really tricky circuit. Some say a bit difficult to overtake on. Do you feel like you've got what you need to go, though?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get on the back of people, I've always been quite good at overtaking, so there's plenty of places like the hairpins that we can overtake, so as soon as I can get on the back of them, I want to try and stay with these boys. They showed quite a lot of pace in qualifying, so if I can stay with them, then I'm sure you'll see me coming through.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need. Paulo.
Yeah, man.
What's the crack? What are you saying?
It's one of the best one of the best questions I've ever heard. Paulo, what's the crack? Never you mind.
Never.
Well, I was catching up with Brad's brother here, actually. Exactly, thanks, mate. Look, I like him. He's very polite. Just talk. What is he a videographer? What's the score?
Yeah, he's social media, man. He does probably the best TikToks you'll ever see in your life. All the little weird spin round shots and stuff like that. No, he's good. He's a good lad, Cam. Yeah, hopefully this race goes well.
Talk to me, mate. What's it like being at the sidelines watching your bro pedal when you've won this championship quite a lot of the time?
Yeah, it's actually quite nice, to be honest. I've got no stress. I stand there, I look important. That's about it. That's my job for now. Yeah, just let him get on with it. He knows what he's doing. He's quite good. I'd like to say he's learnt from the best, but I don't know if that's true or not.
What, your dad?
Yeah, obviously Dad's good. I'm just mediocre. I just stand on the sideline, so yeah.
You're a very humble champion, mate. We like you. Talk to me about your dad. He's always flat out doing this business. You feel sorry for him sometimes because it's heartache most of the time, this racing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he's right. He loves it. He wouldn't be here if he didn't love it. We all love it. It's more of a lifestyle than a hobby now. I've been in it for 17 years. I'm 23 years old, so it is life. This is what we do. I do this for a job. I go around the country sitting in passenger seats for a job, so this is my day-to-day, and we kind of just get used to it after a while.
Yeah. We go racing because racing is a life, isn't it? So the whistle's gone. I think the engines are going to get fired up. So we'll let these cars go. We'll stand to one side. Don't get run over by your brother. I'm sure that's happened a few times. But yeah, grid's looking good, isn't it? And they're ready to rock and roll, I reckon. But I'm concerned about this Adam Shepherd job here.
I say I was just heading over there a second ago. One of the mechanics was in the front bumper a second. One of the marshals came over and just said, you know, you've got 1 minute, 30 seconds max. You know, you've got to get it done. You've got to get it done. We're about to go racing, though, here, ladies and gents. It's the first race of the weekend here at Oulton Park. It's TCR UK. It's coming up in just a moment's time.
wonder why your competitors' websites appear in Google searches ahead of you? Then make a call to the SEO experts Woya and understand how your business can be more visible online. As the official marketing partner of TCR UK, you can now work with a trusted search engine optimization partner to increase web traffic, inquiries and sales. Speak to us for your free audit and quote by visiting woya.co.uk today.
For voice and data solutions at speeds that are simply out of this world, choose Maximum Networks.
Welcome along, everybody, then to Oulton Park as the Oulton Park Island Circuit plays host to rounds 5 and 6 of the 2023 TCR UK Championship. It's been an incredible start to the season so far. 4 races down, 4 different race winners, and I think there's a decent chance we could be adding to that number here today, because we've got a number of drivers who have yet to really show us everything that they're capable of, I think, in 2023, and perhaps today could be their time to shine. The sun is shining, it's baking the crowd here at Oulton Park, and you've got to spare a thought for the drivers inside the cars. The cockpit temperatures are going to be climbing and climbing and climbing over what is going to feel like a very lengthy 25-minute race. Andy McEwen here in the commentary box, Paul O'Neill en route up to the box, having been down there soaking up the sun and the atmosphere of what was another busy grid walk. 2.6 mile Oulton Park circuit is basking in summer sunshine, but it's always a challenging track regardless of the conditions, as many of the drivers were hinting at there on the grid walk. Not easy to pass here, not easy to make progress. A good start is going to be crucial, so high pressure situation upcoming for the drivers as they prepare to see those red lights illuminate. The tyres just being rotated on the cars now. That was the tyre rotation lap that's been completed. They will have one more green flag lap when that's done, and then we will be away and racing. And as I said, a 5th different winner from the season is possible, most certainly, although at the front of the field we have Bruce Winfield. Bruce already a race winner this year, having claimed that victory in the opening race of the season at Snetterton, but then alongside him Alex Lee looking for his first win of the year, and so unbelievably is this man. Chris Smiley was a winner at Oulton Park on the international layout a year and a half ago at the season opener for 2022, his first ever race in the championship. Stuck it on pole position and led from lights to flag, but has a bit more work to be done from 4th on the grid. He's got a couple of these fast-starting Audis around him too. The Audis are known for their traction off low-speed corners and off the line as well. And the acceleration for the Audis, the Rob Boston Racing Audis at the front of the grid, could be the thing that really mixes things up, because it's area motorsport with a front row lockout, and then 2 of the Audis in relatively quick succession. Joe Marshall starting 7th, with Jack Constable 3rd on the grid. There, Jensen Brickley, who was a winner at Croft last time out as well. Lots of drivers capable of running well in this one. The top 10 covered by just a second, and that was after a slightly interrupted qualifying session, must be said. The red flag probably prevented some of the drivers from really going as quickly as they could. The tyre rotation then almost complete. Paul O'Neill has made the journey up into the commentary box now, and Paul, you've been chatting to the drivers down there on the grid. I think they're well up for this, but all of them know the importance of perhaps the first 20 seconds or so of this race. That can really make or break your day.
Yeah, definitely. You know, tight grid at Oulton Park. Some people starting on the hill, starting on a bit of a descent, so there could be a bit of shift. I just watched the practice start by Chris Smiley in the FL5 Honda. It wasn't great. It really wasn't good. So hopefully he's got a bit more warmth in the front tyres and it's better for him. I think there could be a little bit of jiggling around. Look, you see them cars, they're actually starting on a descent. You can see they're not having to push that too hard, are they, to push it back. George Healer's car there. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, mate. And just for anyone at home that could hear a hissing noise about 30 seconds ago, that was me spraying deodorant on Andy McEwen because he stinks.
Thanks, Paul. Whatever the professional, I don't think they would have ever known unless you had dropped me in it there. So thanks for that, mate. Yes, big grid. I mean, I think deodorant is going to be selling well at the moment. We are really in. We're having a fantastic summer. We rarely get the chance to say that, but we've had 3 weeks solid of beautiful weather. We're being really spoiled today with what is basically the hottest day of the year so far. We're being spoiled, the fans being spoiled, but the drivers, I'm sure, would be praying for a little bit of cloud cover. There was a threat of some rain today. That now seems to have vanished. It's going to be relentless in there. 25 minutes. We don't look at that and think of that as anything like a long stint in a car, but on a day like this and a track like this, Paul, which is so physically demanding, they're going to be worse for wear by the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, jokes aside, this is one of the more physical tracks. You know, there's only a couple of places where you're not turning the steering wheel, so your core strength is really, really got to be, you know, well up there. You've got to be fit, and all these guys are fit, but who's the fittest?
We shall find out, because 25 minutes of racing is not that far away. The green flag lap underway. Let's take a look, shall we then, at how they're going to line up on the grid for round 5 of the 2023 Championship. Well, after a thrilling qualifying session and a last-ditch effort for Bruce Winfield, it is the championship leader who lines up on pole position with his Area Motorsport Hyundai teammate alongside him of Alex Lee. Row number 2 then for the first of the Audis. Jack Constable, winner at Croft, starts third. And Chris Smiley, looking to really kick-start his 2023 campaign, will be there alongside him. Third row of the grid, another Area Motorsport prepared Hyundai i30N, that of Adam Shepherd, who had an altercation with a tyre stack in practice yesterday, but has bounced back nicely to qualify 5th ahead of Bradley Kent, who had an altercation with Jack Constable in qualifying earlier on, and then started pretty close together on the grid. Constable's teammate Joe Marshall is next in the second of the Rob Boston Audis. Callum Newsham, though, I fear will be a non-starter. That turbo that blew in qualifying earlier on, likely to count him out of this race. There'll be a gap then, 8th on the grid, behind which will line up Carl Boardley, who won on the road at Croft, only to be penalised for exceeding track limits, and Brad Hutchison, who led briefly in the second race a few weeks ago, will round out the top 10. Then Scott Sumpton in the second Restart Racing Honda. That's the older shape FK7 Civic alongside Jensen Brickley, also a winner in the reverse grid race at Croft last time out. 13th then for debutant Luke Sargent in the car that Josh Biles pedalled almost to a race victory at Snetterton at the season opener. New engine fitted into that car for this weekend with Darren Wilson's trusty old Vauxhall Astra for company on row 7. Row 8 then for Matthew Wilson, recently married Matthew Wilson, who starts 15th alongside Gary Townsend in his Audi. Then 17th on the grid for Jonathan Beeson in the only VW Golf, but we saw from Isaac Smith last year how well that car can potentially go here at Oulton Park, and he will have Darren Lewis, ex-MX5 and Ginetta racer, for company in his privately run older spec Audi. George Healer in one of the Gen 2 Audis starts next, 19th on the grid for him, ahead of Rick Kerry, who returns to the championship having made his debut at Snetterton. And at the back of the grid, two who had problems earlier on in the weekend. Steve Gales with a big off at Druids in qualifying. Didn't spot actually whether his car was on the grid or not, but Oliver Cotham's definitely was, and will line up at the back after a penalty for an engine change. That's not such good news for them, but good news, Paul, for fans of Callum Newsham. I know Anthony spoke to one of them on the grid earlier on. Callum Newsham is at the end of the pit lane. He is going to take the start, not from the grid, but at least they got that car sorted. That is a Herculean effort.
Yeah, that's a great effort, isn't it? Also, what a great effort was there was all them Southerners with their tops off. Ali Camp actually was in the middle of that, wasn't he? Yeah. Tops off Saturday, eh? But yeah, great effort. It's all we want to see is everyone who can race give it the big one, and Oliver Cottam there. We want to see that car right up there where it belongs with the driver of his calibre. So, yeah, they're all looking like they're ready to go, mate. I'm looking forward to this. Everyone looks a bit nervous.
They do, don't they? The pressure's on. As I said, the start's so important here at Oulton Park. We gain Callum Newsham from the pit lane, but we have lost Steve Gales, it would seem. He did not appear to be there at the back of the grid. The rest of the field in place, though. 25 minutes of racing about to get underway. Round 5 of TCR UK for 2023. The Area Motorsport front row. Who will lead them into Old Hall Corner? Lights go out. Away they go. Control the revs, control the wheel spin. It's a good start from Lee, a good start from Smiley as well, who tries to find a gap to the outside. Then in the middle of the Hyundais, Alex Lee. Can he tough it out round the outside. Winfield comes back at him side by side between the teammates through Old Hall Corner. Do they come out the other side? Yes, they do, but who's got the advantage? Down the avenue, through Denton's, it's Alex Lee, winner here a year ago, and he hits the front immediately.
Great start, wasn't it, by Alex Lee, and everyone looks like they're just getting through as best they can, and a big sideways. Was that Marshall, or was that... It was Marshall, wasn't it? That was a big sideways. He was lucky to hold on to that, but yeah, we're all go down the inside, gets that done. Lost a couple of places there, but gets one back. This is looking like a typical Oulton Park dogfight.
Carl Bordley here, side by side with Joe Marshall, squeezes across the nose of the Audi and moves through. That is 6th place for Carl Bordley, making good ground from 9th on the grid. As there, Brad Hutchison roughs up Bradley Kent. Fair play, Brad Hutchison. That was a bold move, and he gets ahead of the Veloster, which does seem to be struggling a bit here this weekend. Up and over Clay Hill they go. Alex Lee has gone. He's a 2.5 clear, and we're not even at the end of lap 1.
Wow, Alex Lee, probably one of the better drivers I've seen on cold rear tyres. He ain't frightened of getting his foot down and leaning on that left rear around this predominantly right-handed circuit at high speed. Fair play to him. This is looking like a classic, but Kent in the background all over Hutchison, and speaking to them on the grid, that car is badly damaged from qualifying.
Is it really? That's a big, big shame. Across the line they go then. Lee leads officially by 1.3 seconds. Winfield second, Smiley third. Here comes Constable up the inside into Old Hall Corner though. Peach of a move from the Rob Boston Racing driver, and Chris Smiley is back off the podium places. Now Smiley delayed. Adam Shepherd sees an opportunity to get alongside, and he will move his Hyundai through as well. So Chris Smiley, can he come back at him up the inside through Cascades? Fabulous side-by-side racing, and the Honda driver will get back through.
Oh, absolutely stunning stuff. Shepherd not bothered about the gas that isn't in his dampers. The leak on the grid, not great, but look now, Bordley round the outside. That's never going to work at the hairpin. Is he going to lose 2 places? Shepherd keeps his nose in. Brilliant stuff. This is a fantastic, one of the best first laps I've ever seen here at Oulton Park in Tin Tops.
Isaac Smith proved last year the round the outside move at the hairpin works. Did it on 3 different drivers in the second race here a year ago. Darren Lewis in strife at the hairpin. Callum Newsham's car I saw was stationary down at the chicane. Let's hope that Lewis gets going. Newsham's car is out of the way, but Darren's car in the middle of the road. If it stays there, that could result in a safety car. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, Bruce Winfield doing his best to go after Alex Lee here. He was quicker than him in the first sector, but then 2/10 slower in sector 2. Carl Bordley, though, what a drive this has been from 9th on the grid, and he's in the top 6 already.
Took his deals when he could, and he really has cashed in. That was brilliant. Bordley, he really is getting to grips with this now, and this is the time to come good. He's doing so well in the championship that he's really keeping it pinned, and Darren's car is out of the way. Brilliant stuff from the crews here at Oulton.
Lead gap, 1.1 seconds, 2/10 faster that time was Bruce Winfield. We've said it through the years often, haven't we, about Bruce? It takes him a couple of laps to get going. He's not the best on cold tyres, but once he's up to speed, he's as quick as anybody, and he is now starting to chase after Alex Lee, as there Bradley Kent peeks to the inside of Joe Marshall, down through Cascades Corner. This, the battle going on for 7th place, and for now, Marshall stays in front.
Look how nervous most of these front cars are. The reason being is they want to have the car understeering as least as possible as Kent gets down the inside. Oh, that was a great move until that protruding wheel. Oh, and 2 off. Townsend and Healer. No.
Oh dear, an Audi car park forms down at the hairpin with the other Audi of Darren Lewis off camera on the left. Townsend continues. Let's see if Healer does. Bradley Kent, meanwhile, completes the manoeuvre on one of the other Audis. Lots of Audis on the grid this weekend. Joe Marshall slips back down into 8th position. Brad Hutchison on the tail of him. And Daryl Wilson is inside the top 10. Fantastic drive this from Daryl in the early stages. Let's see if he can make further progress. Lead gap, though, Paul, definitely coming down. Purple sector 1, personal best sector 2 for Winfield. He's almost with Lee already.
Yeah, not just that, it's a good 2 or 3 tenths. He's catching him by look at 37 now. Winfield has him in the sights. This is going to be a safety car. He's got it fired up. He's going to pull it over, hopefully in time. Yeah, should have loads of time here. Winfield 26.983, fastest lap, and that's by 4 tenths. This is it, game on. Bordley down the inside of Shepherd, or is that Shepherd trying to get round the outside of Bordley?
Well, at the line, Shepherd was ahead, so I think he got past him already. Bordley, I think, was ahead of Shepherd last time we saw him. Then Adam got back through. He's got a wheel on the grass into Cascades, though. That is already a tricky corner. It's not made any easier by dipping a wheel onto the green stuff, and really quick car control there from Adam Shepherd to hang on to it. Now they race into the yellow flag zone. No overtaking down at the hairpin, and that is the clear reason why George Healer's car still on the edge of the road, and I don't see George at the wheel wheel anymore, so I think we know what's coming.
This could be a safety car. Great to see flags being waved and not reliance on too many. There we go. Safety car is out. That's a yellow, so we've got a competition caution then. So safety car will come out. That will give a lot of the drivers a rest. They've already got the windows open, Andy. That is how hot it is. You never want your windows open in a tin top because the drag just starts getting worse and worse, and the higher speed you go, the slower the car will become at top speed. So not great stuff. So safety car conditions. Take a breath, and yeah, we'll see how we get on there. It looked like there maybe have been just a lock-up maybe from one of the two Audis. Don't know if it was Townsend into Healer or the other way around. So yeah, let's check up on the leaders. But I think Alex Lee, to be fair, that's George Healer, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
So George will be a bit gutted with himself if he has been involved in a bit of locking up front.
So, safety car out, 6 minutes gone, 19 still to go. Alex Lee, the race leader, but Winfield, I don't think Winfield wanted this safety car, really. He was getting into a nice little rhythm there, wasn't he? Closing in on Alex Lee ahead. And, of course, it also brings Jack Constable back onto his tail. Smiley 4th, Bordley 5th, Shepherd 6th, 7th for Bradley Kent, 8th Joe Marshall, 9th Brad Hutchison, and 10th Darrell Wilson. I don't think any of those 10 drivers are still in the position from which they started. For all this talk about how you can't overtake at Oulton Park, Paul, we've seen a lot of brilliant side-by-side action already.
Yeah, but you see, you say that, and I'm always with you, but anytime I've been here to watch TCR, there's always loads of overtaking. So what's the rest of the people doing who come here and race and moan about the place? They need to grow up and go back down south. I ain't got anything against Southerners, by the way.
No, I'm sure you haven't. That comes from a touring car winner here at Oulton Park as well, Paul O'Neill, so you know he knows what he's talking about. What do you make then of this dynamic between the area cars at the front of the field? Alex Lee away like a scolded cat initially, Winfield coming back at him. My question is, how have they both been treating their rubber in the early stages of the race? Alex Lee pushing hard on cold tyres, whereas Winfield just seemed to let the car come to him, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think, like you say, Alex Lee is fantastic on cold rears, and really has got fantastic car control. But Bruce is a little bit of a smoother driver, and yeah, a smoother driving style is always going to help your tyres later on in the race. But the problem you have is usually a cold tear. If you go too hard at it, use the curbs too hard, and it's the track isn't up to temperature, so the tyres go from stone cold to really hot, and they tear quite not easily, but they can tear. Any slick tyre can do that. Problem is that it's quite warm tarmac, so I don't think it will take massive amounts of life out of the tyres, because they didn't look like they were doing anything horrendous to me. But we say that there's a long way to go in this race, but it might just favour the people, like you say, who've gone hard at it in the first few laps. But this is great, isn't it, that Alex Lee is leading, because that's where he deserves to be, in my opinion.
Absolutely. This safety car, of course, also helping the drivers now. They can just cool everything off a little bit, cool those tyres out, bring the tyre temperatures back down again. Coming towards us there, Jensen Brickley, the 246 car, he is out of position, isn't he? Didn't have a great qualifying, started 12th. He has gained one position, but he really wasn't one of those drivers who was making good overtakes in the early stages, and he'll be aiming for that 10th place, because remember, race 2, we take the top 10 finishers and we reverse them to form the grid. So as it stands, we'd have a Darrell Wilson, Brad Hutchison front row. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'd like that. That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? But going back to the off at the hairpin, that is a really strange one, unless we can't see a lot the damage that's on one of the sides of the cars, because there's no reason that can't be pushed out of the way. It may be stuck in gear, or it might have had a problem on the way into that corner, and that's why there's been so it is a lift. It must have really bad damage on that front left. Yeah. So it must be. There is tyre marks down there, so I would say that has been a big lock-up. That car is usually fitted with anti-locking brake system, ABS, for the championship that it's regularly in. So when that system's taken off, it is easy to lock up the brakes, especially if something happens in front of you and you're just shocked and put them on. So not saying that's what happened with George. May have been another problem, and there may be a failure of some sort, but I'm sure we'll soon find out. But it's a lift, and that's because it just cannot be moved. And I thought, why is it not being pushed out of the way? But no answer is there.
Carl Bordley, massively impressive here in the early stages. Like I said, up 4 spots from where he started. Carl Bordley's a championship contender, isn't he? I don't think I necessarily expected to be saying that at the start of the season at Snetterton, but the Croft weekend he really announced himself to the world as a contender in this championship. And also, the rate at which he's made progress here bodes well for race 2, doesn't it? Because he's going to have more progress to make there but we know he's good on cold tyres, we know he's bold, he's not afraid to go around the outside if that's the only opportunity that presents itself to him. And it's drivers like that who can make that progress when they're a bit deeper in the field, who tend to do well in this championship. So Carl Boardley, massively impressed with him.
Massively, yeah. I don't know Carl amazingly well, to be honest, and I got to know him a lot more when we did something called Brisker F1 together, where we got a load of tin top drivers and we went and had a little blast round in these old F1 stock cars. He is one of the nicest people you could ever meet. Carl is a proper legend, love him to bits. And I was the one that said to him, when I seen him, I said, why don't you come and have a go at TCR UK? And he said, oh, okay, well, I don't know much about it, tell me more. And I went, they'll be the best cars that you've driven. They are so good to drive, and they're not massively difficult either, and you can tune them to where you want to be. So he's driven a lot of things, but Carl, in my eyes, has driven with the best of them. And this will be a championship that I will tell you now, he will be in the running. The last weekend we go to, he'll be up for the championship. I'll tell you that now. That car's good.
So it's you we've got to thank for Carl Boardley's. But Nicky and Stuart paying you commission for referring drivers to us.
I hope so, mate.
Right then, we are still behind safety car. I think we'll be going green this time, but very quickly we can head down to the pit lane. I believe DJ's got an update for us. DJ, what have you got?
Cheers, guys. Yeah, down in the pit lane, and unfortunately for 3 of our drivers, their races have ended prematurely. Gary Townsend, one of our drivers, the rear suspension arm looks to have sheared completely on the inside. You can't really see it from this angle, but they took the rear wheel off. And yeah, you could saw it. It's just absolutely sheared in half, which is a huge disaster for him. So his race is over. If they do take this wheel off, you might be able to see it, which would actually be really handy. As you can imagine, it's quite a physical job, these guys having to get that off. It's quite a disaster. Callum Newsham as well, just while you watched that, he came into the pit lane, and I believe his turbo, again, it's not worked out for him. He dumped a huge puddle of oil just as he got pushed into the garage as well. So his race is done and dusted as well. Bit of a disaster. So again, bit of a disaster on that one. Scott Sumpton as well, also his race over. Electrical issues, he's out of gear, and yeah, he can't get it back in a gear, so his race also over. Disaster for that one, as the safety car hopefully is on its way back in very, very soon. Yeah, 3 cars out of the race, early doors.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. Sorry, I lost
Back
you
to you,
in my
boys.
ear slightly, Anthony. I thought you'd stopped talking and gone and found some shade to go and sit in. We are ready to go racing again, though. 12 minutes to go, and Alex Lee needs to now make a really good restart. The pressure is on. He knows that Winfield was closing in on him, and now that gap has disappeared completely. Out of Lodge, across the timing line they go. We're racing again here at Oulton Park, and a good restart from Alex Lee. The front of the car bouncing down on the ground as he applies the brakes into Old Hall Corner and finds out exactly how much heat he's been able to retain in those tyres. There goes Darryl Wilson in 10th position with Jensen Brickley right behind him. That's going to be a battle worth watching, I think. Clean restart, uneventful one for the time being, but Alex Lee with a really, really strong restart to the race there.
If I was the team manager of most of those cars, I would be giving you such a grilling. You should be so much closer than that on the restart. Oh, look at Lee. Did you see Alex Lee just went wide into the hairpin, then trying to get away and make that bolt into the lead? But yeah, that was difficult. A lot of them really just staying well away from the back of everyone else's car. Alex Lee is gone, and this is like the first lap again, isn't it? Bruce Winfield needs to get his head down and crack on, because Jack Constable with his window open there, he ain't going to mess around either.
Yeah, but again, as I said, Bruce Winfield, we see this sometimes from him, takes him a couple of laps, and then he really gets up to speed. Chris Smiley and Carl Boardley both tipping a wheel onto the grass, exiting Knickerbrook Corner there. Both just about getting away with it through the left-hand kink past the water tower. Into Druids they go. Hyundai, Audi, Honda, Cupra, the order at the front. And Adam Shepherd on his toes now to try and get that 5th place back away from Carl Boardley. Gets a good exit from Druids. Is he going to try and peek up the inside? Into Lodge, thinks about it, trying to distract Carl Boardley there. Carl Boardley having none of it.
Wow. Shepherd, honestly, Adam Shepherd is just one of the standout tin-top drivers that I commentate on. I absolutely love watching him drive. His enthusiasm, his just not enthusiasm in the personality sense, the enthusiasm he drives the car with is absolutely amazing. He tried to shock Boardley into a mistake then, like you rightly called, and it is just great to see him looking for any move he can. And Boardley is now running wide as he turns into Cascade. This is going to get tight now because Shepherd's got a great run. Look at the dust that they're kicking up. I would not want to be dropping my right rear on there.
and into the hairpin. Shepherd's car always moves around so much under braking, doesn't it? It doesn't look nice to drive, but it's clearly how he enjoys driving a car. Didn't quite get off the corner all that well though, so Bradley Kent now closing in on him slightly. Lead gap nearly 8/10 of a second at the end of that first lap of racing, but in the first sector on this lap, Bruce Winfield a 1/10.5 quicker than Alex Lee, so he's starting to come back at the race leader again, but 9.5 minutes to go. He's got to get on with this.
Yeah, and watch the cars as they come over the crest and turn left before they go to Druid. If we might not get to see it, but just Alex Lee's car is the most nervous car out there, except for Adam Shepherd's, to be fair. Every time he comes across that crest, I'm just like, what is going on with the rear of his car? It's so nervous that more nervous you can have the car and live with it. The rear just falling around all over the place, the better it is for the front tyres because they don't have as much stress then. Talking about stress, stress levels for Chris Smiley in your picture will be going through the roof because Carl Boardley is coming for you, boss.
And the lead gap is down to 1/4 of a second as well. A purple final sector there for Winfield. So again, you don't know where to look, do you? Leaders nose to tail though, down into Cascades corner. And Bruce Winfield's left himself 8 3/4 minutes to try and find a way past his teammate to become the first double winner of the season. Gets a better exit out of Cascades corner, and Lee might now have to move to the inside to defend. Into the hairpin he goes. He does cover the middle ground, then sort of weaves back over to the racing line, runs a touch deep, but that's all right. Hooks up the late apex and for now stays in front.
Wow. Well, the way that car is set up, look at the exit from Alex Lee. Wow. That was a great exit. Got the steering straight, got the power down. This will be telling now as the cars change direction really quickly through the Knickerbrook chicane. Watch on the exits as they go through Clay Hill. That's what's going to keep him ahead, actually. The rear of this car, the lead car, as it comes up and over this crest and goes towards Druids, the rear just looks like it's going to swing round. Watch now. It just looks so much more loose than that car in second place. And I think if he can just hold it at a status quo, he should be okay. But slow speed, hairpin corners on the way in, that's where he's vulnerable. And that's where Bruce Winfield needs to attack.
Alex's car looks a bit softer to me as well than Bruce's, and I think that's helping the change of direction, isn't it, through some of the more technical parts of the circuit. Jensen Brickley past Darrell Wilson. That is significant. That's 10th place, so that's the race 2 pole position slipping away now from Darrell Wilson. And Jensen Brickley could be positioning himself for another good race 2. Is Wilson slowing? I think he might be. The Astra perhaps starting to run into some sort of a problem. Yeah, limps across the line, visibly off pace, and might now lose a few more positions. So Brickley into the top 10, and that could be significant for later on in the day. This, though, the fight for 4th place. Smiley, Boardley, who's very wide again at Cascades, with Adam Shepherd and Brad Kent for company.
Yeah, that's a shame if Darrell has dropped off, because I can just see him in the background, how he gets that Astra to where it is. Change for the lead.
That's Winfield past Alex Lee. What happened there? I was just about to say the gap was growing again in sector 1. Alex must have made a mistake at the hairpin. Winfield goes through. The pressure finally telling. Now, can he retaliate?
Well, I said he's vulnerable into that hairpin. The first turn of the steering from the point you turn into the apex, he was understeering on the last lap we watched, where the front axle just couldn't keep up with the steering input that Alex was putting in. He obviously put in not enough. The car was going too fast, and Bruce Winfield has thought, Brucey bonus for me, I'm down the inside, lad.
Well, he's got the fastest lap as well, Bruce Winfield, and started from pole. This could be maximum points from the first race of the weekend. And as Paul is quite rightly pointing out, the troubles are not over here for Alex Lee, because now there is the arrival of an Audi. It's Jack Constable right in behind, as Lee's car just seems to be getting away from him.
What is going on with Alex's car? Constable's car looks faster than anything on track, if I'm being honest. Alex cannot get that car turned in. It just looks like he's got too much understeer now. The rear has stopped moving around, and the front is now just got too much going on with it. The steering, the power, he just can't get it down. Constable can see that. He knows he's wounded. He needs to be closer for an attack. Let's see what Alex has got at the hairpin, because he might slow up, and this might give Jack a chance to get down the inside.
Let's see what happens. Hard onto the brakes. Constable matched Winfield on that previous lap round, within a couple of hundredths of each other anyway. And so if he can get past Alex Lee, might just have a chance to challenge for a victory here again. Over the hill they go, dropping down into the Hislop chicane. The order stays as it is. In the background, it's still Smiley 4th from Boardley 5th. Shepherd, Kent, Marshall, Hutchison and Brickley in the top 10, and that's Matt Wilson off at the hairpin now, heading for a moment there towards the barriers, but thankfully keeps it out of the Armco. He'll have a grill full of grass, that's for sure, but another lucky escape.
Front-wheel drive cars don't power oversteer out hairpins unless they've had a tag. So I would guarantee that was contact if we ever see it again.
Who was he battling with? He just got ahead of Luke Sargent, actually, at the end of the previous lap. So those two were scrapping over 12th position, along with a couple of others. Jonathan Beeson in that group too. Down towards Lodge Corner, though, comes the 4th place battle, and Carl Bordley hasn't yet given up hope of getting past Chris Smiley. He's assisting him into Lodge Corner. Come on, Chris, get a move on. I'm faster than you, says Carl. And despite that aggressive entry into the corner, gets off the corner better than the Honda too. Goes from the outside to the inside. Smiley doesn't know which way to go to cover. Is Bordley going to throw it up the inside? No, not quite at Old Hall Corner. This is getting lively.
This is getting lively, and look who's in the mix. 117, Adam Shepherd, with his gasless dampers and his 3-wheel car. He don't care, does he? He's having it, mate. He's having it. So now Bordley, who takes a really weird late entry into Cascades, he's putting pressure on himself because now Shepherd is coming back at him, but Smiley will look in his mirror and think, thanks, you keep him at bay, please. Smiley's struggling here on the brakes. Smiley is having a nightmare. That car locking up the front axle into the hairpin.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get the car rotated, could he? Carl Bordley into the back of him. Adam Shepherd almost gave him a love tap too. Brad Kent, by the way, the car behind them, has picked up a 5-second penalty, we assume, for exceeding track limits. And now number 41, Carl Bordley as well. Carl Bordley, 5-second penalty for the Cupra that runs in 5th place at the moment. Now if Chris Smiley, oh, there goes Kent! Brad Kent off at Knickerbrook, into the gravel, into the barriers. Something must have broken on the left front corner of the Veloster, and all of a sudden that 5-second penalty is the least of his worries.
Oh, can it get any worse for those guys? That's awful. Absolutely terrible. Ugh. But Bordley is battling. I don't know if he's actually seen the penalty that he's been given, which will be flashed on the board as he comes across the line in the next 5 seconds. Shepherd will see it. They'll all see it. They'll see it, but do they know whose car it is? Unless they look at the back window, they won't know.
Well, in a way, that sort of takes the pressure off Smiley, but not really, because Adam Shepherd is in close company as well. So if Bordley does go for a move, Chris is in danger of losing 2 spots, which he can't really afford to do. So at the moment then, Shepherd moves into the top 5 on corrected times, as Bradley Kent's name drops down the leaderboard. That puts Darryl Wilson back into the top 10, by the way. So any problem I thought he might have seems to have resolved itself for the time being.
Bordley ain't going to be happy about this penalty. Obviously, like everybody won't be happy with the penalty, but losing that win at Croft and now having this penalty, he is going to be absolutely fuming. But rules are rules. He's been caught out somewhere. I just hope it's a consistent penalty for everybody involved.
And with still a lap and a half to go, are other people going to fall foul of this as well before the flag? Chris Smiley really struggling to get the car turned into the Hislop chicane there. Yellow flags out at Knickerbrook for Brad Kent's car, as there the leading trio make their way over Clay Hill. Bruce Winfield not exactly scorching away out in front. He's got a 1.3 second buffer over Lee second, and Constable for the time being can't seem to find a way past Alex, can he? Alex there just snatching a break into Druid's corner, but that car, although it's struggling, seems to be quick enough in the key areas of the circuit that Constable isn't able to launch an attack.
Alex Lay is going to have the worst next lap or two of his life. Constable's car is working so well. Window wide open on Constable's car. The only thing that's helping Alex here is he's got great speed on the exit of the corners, and that's not engine power really. That's because Constable is laden with BOP, balance of performance. So he's struggling a bit with his handicap from having such a successful weekend at Croft.
Now they crossed the line there with 1 minute and 38 seconds to go. That means there's time for 2 more laps. Not the best of news for Alex Lee, who needs to be careful about running wide on the exit of Cascades. Carl Bordley's move, by the way, is about to deteriorate ever further because his 5-second penalty's now been converted into a 10-second penalty as Lee drifts wide again at the hairpin, and this time Constable's got the overlap, he's got the inside line, but didn't quite have the acceleration with that compensation weight that Paul was just explaining. He could not get the traction up the hill, and Lee dodges another bullet.
Yeah, Alex is so nervous of the car on the way into the corners with big braking zones. If I was Constable, I would be as close as I could be on the entry to Druids, on the exit of Druids, and just launch a scathing attack down at Lodge. This is going to be brutal. I can't wait for these next couple of laps. Look how close he knows he needs to be right in there. Can he get the speed? Both apexes hit. He's close. He's close enough for me. This is going to be a defending now tactic from Alex Lee. This will be very interesting.
Doesn't cover the inside, but then in fairness, Constable's not really quite close enough. It looked like he got a good exit from Druids, but not quite good enough. The traction off Lodge Corner, can that bring the Audi back into play as they make their way up towards the line? On to the final lap of what has been a sensational opening race of the day here at Oulton Park, and it's all about the fight for second. Alex Lee versus Jack Constable. Chris Smiley somehow heroically is keeping Carl Bordley and Adam Shepherd at bay. Bordley, though, remember, with 10 seconds to be added on to his time at the end of the race. Second place gap, though, just creeping up now, Paul.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Just a little bit of a creep on the... Ooh, you've got to be careful of that, Alex. Track limits, people are getting done for it, they're watching. I'd be very, very, very careful about that. I think it could... Oh, it's not over! Oh. He's got to be on the inside, but the power of that Alex Lee car will just drive him away now. Constable's got no chance of catching him going up that hill with that weight in.
Yeah, Alex clearly struggling into the head, but he gets such a good launch off it from that wide entry that it doesn't really seem to cost him a huge amount. Overshoots the chicane, though. Few mistakes creeping into the youngsters driving here, and Jack Constable can sense blood in the water. Out of Knickerbrook they go, up Clay Hill. One more realistic overtaking opportunity to come, and yet again it's into that final corner at Lodge. Will he make the move, or will he settle for third position? He's not really the settling kind, Jack Constable. If there's a chance, he'll go for it. Lee snatches the break again into Druid. That will give Constable yet more inspiration to have a pop up the inside, maybe into the last turn. Bruce Winfield's going to claim a second victory of the season, but for second place it's anyone's guess. Lee covers the inside line, needs to be careful not to overshoot on the exit of the corner. He has! Constable's on the inside, drag race to the line. We know the Hyundai's good on the power, but not good enough. It's a win for Winfield, second for Jack Constable, who will be delighted with that. He finally forced the decisive mistake out of Alex Lee, and it netted him second place. Lee in third, Smiley, what a defensive drive, in fourth, ahead of Adam Shepherd on corrected times fifth. Joe Marshall 6th, Brad Hutchison 7th, Brickley 8th, Bordley 9th, and I think, yes, Darrell Wilson will get 10th, and with it provisionally, the race 2 pole, but he was being hunted down there by Jonathan Beeson right to the end. Well, what a race that was. To think we've got the reverse grid race still to come later on. Paul, your final thoughts before you head down to the podium?
Amazing. Bruce Winfield deserved that. He just put the pressure on, got the pass done, won the race. Excellent stuff for the 37. Alex Lee, all he needed to do was brake. He wasn't even defending, he just needed to brake. I heard the tyre squeal, and then I thought he must have the door open, and that was brilliant stuff from Jack Constable. Jack Constable, you, my man, are looking very good for this championship.
Absolutely, that was a fantastic effort that from Constable to get himself one step higher on the podium. It's a 10th career podium that for Jack Constable within the championship, and for Bruce Winfield a 5th career win, which actually puts him equal third now on the all-time wins list with Jack Constable. So those two really are now starting to show themselves as consistent race winners and definite championship contenders. Lots to talk about in that race. Oh, by the way, I said that Darrell Wilson had 10th position. Actually, Bordley, with his 10-second penalty, drops him down into 10th place. So Carl Bordley will be very, very disappointed with the penalty, but it does at least get him the race 2 pole, which is something to salvage from the situation, I guess, and he will line up alongside the Astra of Darrell Wilson. But that is all provisional. It's pending post-race penalties and judicials that may or may not be coming. Generally, though, it looked like a fairly clean race, that really. Not a huge amount that didn't look fair. And so hopefully no penalties incoming. Bruce Winfield, though, what a drive. Area Motorsport will celebrate having 2 cars on the podium, 3 cars inside the top 5. But they would have loved it if Alex Lee could have held on to second place there. Lee could have done with the second place points as well, really. As it is, Jack Constable is the man who collects them, and that will help his championship tally no end. So cars make their way down into Parc Fermé, the second TCR UK race, all things being well, due to get underway at around about 20 past 4, with build-up from about 5 past 4 later on this afternoon. So make sure you tune in to see what is sure to be a very exciting second race of the day. As I said to Paul there, the first race, especially in a track like Oulton Park, can sometimes be the calmer of the 2 races. Well, if that was the calm one, we're in for a real treat later on this afternoon, as Bruce Winfield becomes the first double winner of the season. His first win in the season opener at Snetterton, and a hugely emotional affair. But this one, well, maybe he's starting to get used to winning in TCR competition. He distances himself further away in the championship chase. And Bruce Winfield is the winner of the 5th round of the TCR UK Championship, and looks relieved, I think, at the end of that one, after what was clearly a tough race. So,
Winfield victorious at Oulton Park. With it extends the points advantage, but it was second place for Jack Constable on the final corner, managing to get himself into that second place ahead of Alex Lee. So Alex Lee dropping down into third. The car clearly was struggling a little bit for grip in the closing stages. They've been sort of chasing setup on the Lee car all season long in a way, and I think they'll be having to make a couple more adjustments before the second race a bit later on. There is Bruce Winfield though, who gets congratulated by a member of the area motorsport team, and well, perhaps for Alex Lee it's a case of looking at what Winfield's doing setup wise. I know they do tend to work together on setups, those three. We're all getting a bit of help and guidance from Josh Files as well, who is a legend of TCR racing, almost exclusively with Hyundai, and he knows what he's talking about. So between the lot of them, I'm sure they'll be able to sort things out for Lee, who was the only one of the three really who seemed to struggle in the closing stages. Like I suggested to Paul, though, I wonder how much of that was down to the pace with which he left the line and then completed those opening couple of laps, because you take the life out of the tyres in the early stages and they're not necessarily there to look after you at race's end. Whereas Winfield just sort of paced himself, didn't he? Just let the race come to him, didn't panic too much in the early stages. He allowed Lee to get the lead and pull clear, and that was, in the end, the right thing to do, I think, because Bruce's car clearly was working well throughout the duration of the 25-minute race. So, cars then make their way down into the pit lane. Hopefully we'll have a chance in a moment to catch up with our podium finishers. A few other teams with some work to be done before race number 2. Gary Townsend car you can see being pulled away, and on the flatbed truck at the front of shot is the George Healer Audi, which I saw out of the window as it was coming back into the pit lane, did have extensive left front corner damage. The steering and suspension broken on the left front corner after their contact, so both of those Audis needing a little bit of work to be done. But at Area Motorsport, it was another strong result, particularly for Bruce Winfield, our race winner, who is about to catch up now with Paul O'Neill. Well, we will get back to Paul in a moment. A little technical issue means that we're not hearing from him right now, but he is there, ready and waiting to chat to our podium finishers. As there you can see George Healer's car that I was just talking about. It's that left front corner, which we might just get a view of now as the car swivels around. Sort of see the wheel pointing at a iffy angle, and that will mean the Paul Sheard racing team have got some repair work to do, but a couple of hours to do it, 2.5 hours or so before that second race of the day begins, and we'll hopefully see a full quota of 22 cars out on the grid again. So I think we can now try and head back down to the Parc Fermé area, where let's try once again to catch up with our race winner.
Thank you, Andrew. That was a pleasure to commentate on with you, Captain. I've ran downstairs to a very excitable and excited Bruce Winfield. Wow. Talk me through that, because that was pretty impressive, mate.
Yeah, I obviously made a right hash at the start. Don't know what happened there, but yeah, not enough revs, bogged down, didn't get the drive, and then obviously gave Alex what he needed to get in front of me. So, yeah, from there, like, to be fair, I think we started pulling away from the group behind us, so it was just stay clean and, sort it out later on kind of thing between me and Alex. And then the safety car come out, closed us all back up again. And then, yeah, I was a bit too nervous, if you like, on the green, after the green flag, after the safety car. He got a little bit of a gap on me, but managed to catch him back up. And then, yeah, unfortunately for Alex, fortunately for me, he had a lock up into the hairpin, and it just gave me the room I needed to overtake him. It's hard to overtake round here, so I was trying to figure out a plan in my head of what I could do. But yeah, he kind of did it for me. So yeah, sorry, Alex, but yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. You'll take that though. But I've got to admit, I was just speaking to Josh Files, who looks after you guys and helps you along, Mr. TCR as he's known in the paddock. Car looks a lot different than I've seen it before. It's rolling around on its front axle. It's turning in better at high speed. Looks a bit good, mate.
a couple of years ago when we had the DSG, I think we had a similar conversation, didn't we? And you were like, there was always a wheel in the air and stuff. And yeah, the car, it's a dream to drive. I'm comfortable in it, I'm confident in it, and yeah, obviously the kind of results speak for themselves. So absolutely over the moon to be able to convert the pole into a P1 for the race. So yeah, start 10th for second race and stay out of trouble, and hopefully we can move forward.
Yeah. Top man, I think you're due some money, aren't you?
I think so. Some more. You gave me one earlier, didn't you?
More money. It's like going, me and you need to go Las Vegas. It's always winning the dollar. And give this one to the lads. They weren't flat out, I'm only kidding. I know budgets can be tight in this championship. Right, okay, well done. Winner, Brucey Winfield. Let's go and speak to second place. If he's not happy, I'll be very unhappy. Oh, my word, mate. The BOP works, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Just explain what the BOP is, sorry.
So balance of performance, so all of the cars are kind of levelled out going into the race year, and I mean they're all so close, so you can see it in the times, but yeah, all of the cars, all manufacturers are all pretty close because of the BOP.
And your BOP was a bit of a handicap for you because you had such a good croft.
Yeah.
You could not get out of them hairpins and get anywhere near Alex unless he made a mistake. And you've probably seen him locking up a couple of times, didn't you? I knew what you were thinking.
Yeah, well, I was happy with third. It was quite settled at that point. But when you start to see the plumes of smoke coming out the back of the car, you started pushing on a little bit more. And I knew that, I thought that if I was within another kind of car length, then there might be a few more errors, and it worked out exactly that way.
Well, Jack Constable, I thought it was great. I thought it was going to be a drag race, and he might actually pip you back.
Yeah, well, I mean, the drag up the hill as well with all the weight.
You're not on about yourself.
Yeah, and that.
I'm only kidding, mate. I'm probably heavier than you. Jack Constable, P2, amazing. Let's go and speak to Alex Lee. Is he going to be happy with that? I'd say no. Looked a bit tired, actually. Alex, how's it going, Captain? You okay, mate? You've had a difficult old race there. Great result, but I've just felt the heat from the front of the car. Them brakes were working hard. It looked like you just had a little bit of a snatch. A couple of times it just lost your place, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's a good result, so I can't be too disappointed. It's hard out there with how hot it is. I think it's all a learning curve. I haven't raced in the conditions like this for maybe one other race last year, so it's good. It's good to learn, and yeah, I'm happy with the result. Good point, so I can't complain. But yeah.
Top man, listen, we'll leave you to it. Get some water. I'm actually, I will always want to race around Oulton Park, but actually not today. That would not be good. I'm looking for the Goodyear Diamond Trophy winners. Not too sure where they... Oh, Carl Boardley, actually. Carl Boardley is over here. Let's go and speak to Carl Boardley. He ain't going to be happy. Let's quickly get a quick shout with him. Excuse me, gentlemen. Sorry. I said in comms you are going to be so unhappy. I don't know what you're going to say, but I don't like the issue of what we've got. But it was 10 seconds in the end, wasn't it?
Apparently so, yeah. It is what it is, mate. I don't want to say too much. I think the whole thing's just a joke at the minute. You've got it with, with the other series that, I was doing before. Everybody's up in arms about it, and we've got it here as well. Someone needs to do something about it, and fairly quick. Otherwise, all it's going to do is just demoralise people, like I am a little bit at the minute. And could be at home sunbathing instead, can I?
What is it about the track limits issue that's the problem? Is it the inconsistency of it, of the policing of it, or is it the actual track limits itself?
No, 100%. It's the inconsistency of how it's policed and how it's done. We're now talking about fine margins, i.e. any part of a tyre that goes over a curb, and you're relying on, and don't get me wrong, these people give up their time and they're wonderful, and we couldn't do this without them. But I think it just needs some investment in some technology, and if there's some technology there and someone comes along and says, well, there you go, Carl, there's a photo, you're over, then you've got to put your hands up and go, that's where it is. But at the minute, it's just that inconsistency from track to track, day to day, race to race.
I get you, mate, I get you. But listen, let's celebrate you winning a trophy today, and it's not a bad thing to win, is it?
No, we'll take trophies.
Good man. Top work. Lovely interview. I was looking for Joe Marshall because he is our Tom Walker Memorial Trophy winner. Can't really see him, so I think we will leave it. Is he that way, is he? Oh, where is he? Where's Joe? Oh, here he is. Hey, sorry, mate, you're waiting around for me. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? You'll have a bit of that, won't you? Good day for the teammates so far, but Tom Worker Memorial winner, that's pretty cool.
So I had problems with the car, to be honest. Qualifying, the left damper was leaking, so we couldn't maximise the performance, and then we tried to get it fixed, but it's that short turnaround today, it's all in one day. We tried to fix it, and it's still not fixed, so it's the best we could have hoped for, really, yeah.
And it's your home circuit as well, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, qualifying, free practice we were quick. Me and Jack were doing the same times, and it's a bit of a downer when you go to qualifying, and you got to start on the back foot, but hopefully they can get it fixed for this race, and then, and you've got to go forwards now.
Top man. Right, let's leave it at that. Let's get to the podium, and let's go and spray some champagne. Back to you. What a classy move. That was a classy move. The championship leader is in the gravel trap.
Neil sends him off, and it's a kick of dirt on the out.